right, welcome to Roundtable 95. We're back with another great panel. I want to welcome the lovely Lady Chan making her return to the roundtable. And I want to
Hi.
welcome the mighty Ring IQ. I want to welcome Coach Collinsworth and
Thank
also HCP's finest, D Style Boxing. What's going on, everybody?
Hi. One second. I
So,
think I'm not. You sound a bit low. Let me just drop out and jump
All
back
right,
in.
we'll let you back
Sorry,
in.
my
No
bad. I don't know
problem.
what's happened.
All right, so obviously, the big news this week, right after Joshua Usyk 2, Fury's calling out Usyk, Usyk's calling out Fury. Is this fight going to happen next? And who do you guys think would win? Who do you favor right out the gate? Ring, what's your take on this?
I think it's gonna happen. I do. I do think it'll happen. I think that what Fury's doing is she's just leveraging his retirement for a bigger guarantee. That's what I think he's doing. Which it's business shit. He's just saying whatever comes to mind. But at the end of the day, he's just trying to entice somebody to give him a lot of money, which I expect. As far as who wins, I haven't decided because Fury has a lot of things you need to beat Usyk. He's big. He's durable. Good powers of recovery. Good beard. Obviously bigger. He knows that he has to go to Usyk's body. That's what he showed in a video that he did right before the fight. He was telling AJ, "This is what you got to do to beat him. You got to go to the body." So he obviously knows what he's doing. But with Usyk, it's not like fam. Like this cat is different. Like this is different. I would wager his hands are faster than yours. His feet are faster than yours. His combinations are better than yours. And he's a southpaw. The last time I saw you with a southpaw, you look like shit. And he wasn't on the level of a Usyk. All you really have going for you is that you're bigger than him, and he's fought bigger people than him for a long time. He beat Joe Joyce in the World Series of Boxing years ago. Easy. He beat Anthony Joshua 2 times in his last fight. Your advantage that you have over other heavyweights is that you move better than they do, but you don't move better than Usyk. You're not going to outlittle the little guy. He knows what he's doing. So it's hard for me to say, yeah, Fury's going to get him. I don't know that.
Got you. Lady Chan, what are your thoughts? Do you think this fight happens, and who are you favoring if and when it does?
Yeah, I think possibly that the fight happens. I think they've got something scheduled in or penciled in that they were saying. I don't know. When it comes to Team Fury, there's always some little back and forth. There's always some isms and schisms. So we saw it with the Wilder Fury thing where basically that one on Monday they were saying something, by Wednesday this was signed. So if the Daily Mail, which is quite a reputable broadsheet newspaper, they already broke the story that penciled in for December 17th. I'm leaning towards that. But in regards to, I'm one of the minorities as well. I feel that Usyk beats Fury. I'm of the same. He's too agile. He's too fast. He's too slippery. Everybody's like, Fury can lean on him. You have to catch him to lean on him. So I'm with I'm with that Fury. I mean that Usyk beats Fury. It's going to be close, but yeah, that's what I think.
D, is Fury capping or is he no capping here? Is this fight going to happen? Is he blowing smoke? And if it does happen, what do you got?
I look, if you look at Usyk, you see how he looked like a genie? He looked like Jafar when he turned into a genie and shit. Okay, in Aladdin. All right. Usyk is gonna grant our wish. He's a genie. He's gonna give us the undisputed fight that we've been wanting for a long time. He's easy to work with. Anytime Usyk has said, I want to fight, I want to do something, he's done it. Right? He said he wanted to be a gold medalist, he became a gold medalist. He said he wanted to be undisputed cruiserweight, he became undisputed cruiserweight. He said he wanted to move up and fight the big dudes. They try to create a whole new division just for him, and he said, no, thank you. Thanks, but no thanks. I want to fight these dudes. I don't care what Tony Bellew says. Right? I want to fight these guys. I want to become the heavyweight champion of the world, not the bridgerweight champion of the world. No offense to Bridger Walker, but it is what it is. Okay? He's here to grant us our wish. He's saying, yo, come out of retirement. He doesn't strike me as someone who's difficult to work with. He doesn't strike me as somebody that's like, look how easy it was to make the Joshua fight. Didn't even have to do the rematch clause since it was a mandatory. But he gave it to him anyway. He's like, okay, fine. Let's fight. Are we going to fight or what? I'll fight you twice. No problem. Right? What's going on right now, Anthony Joshua, what am I talking about? Tyson Fury knows exactly what he's doing. All All right. He's playing a heel. He's healing it up. He's calling him a foreigner. He's calling him all types of stuff to rile people up. Okay, because he knows, a lot of people in the quote unquote West don't know much about Usyk. He wants as much people to know about him as possible. This is the old story of David versus Goliath, and he knows it. He's Goliath, and he's going to play that role. All right. But Usyk's saying, you come at me with a spear and sword and shield, but I come at you. Like, this is a dude that prays in the corner. Okay. If this isn't David from the Bible, I don't know what is. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what this is. This is David versus Goliath. And I'm looking forward to it. I think the fight's going to happen.
Usyk's a Capricorn, by the way. I think it's important that everybody on the panel and everybody in chat, he's a Capricorn. We don't lose, bro. We don't lose at nothing. I just had to say that. Pardon me.
Coach, do you think this fight happens, and who you favoring?
I absolutely think it's gonna happen, and Fury's gonna stop him in about 7-8 rounds. It's listen, Usyk is awesome, man. Everything my man just said about Usyk, well, everything she said, everybody's saying is right on, man. Usyk is a hell of a fighter, man. But Tyson Fury, man, is a completely different. He's a throwback fighter in every sense of the word, with promotion, ability, and what you'll see is I don't see a Tyson Fury making the mistake of trying to box with Usyk neither. I think what my man just said about him being small and he fights small but intelligent, whereas I think Fury ain't gonna play the game with him. He'll lean on him and push him and shove him and punch him, and that's a tall order for that guy, man. Even though Usyk's really the size of a heavyweight, a normal heavyweight up until now. Difference is these heavyweights today aren't these giant heavyweights don't have the ability of the 90s and 70s and shit like that, man. Where the big gypsy does, man. And I think it's gonna get rough for him. Now, do I think Usyk don't have a chance or something? No. I'm not saying that at all, because we know an overconfident Tyson can get clipped too and get sit down too. We seen who was the small heavyweight he fought when he first came to America, and he beat him up.
Steve Cunningham.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Cunningham, and Steve Cunningham's no little dude, man. And in person, but the Gypsy's a giant, man. And I don't see him. I don't see him playing into Usyk's boxing ability and trying to box with him and give him a chance, man. So I guess I'm the oddball, man. I think he's gonna lean on him and poke and push and punch and a little bit, man. Fury, I'm telling y'all, man. Fury is a master at pro boxing, man. He knows how to hit you when you shouldn't be hit, and how to hit you when the ref ain't looking, and all that shit, man. It's gonna be a rough one, but I definitely think it'll happen. And I definitely think people will pick. Hell, I think after that, man, AJ could make money shadow boxing, man. So he'll still be. They'll still make that one in England. Sound like my girl from England over there. You from England?
Oh shit! I'm still in that, yo. He said he could make money shadow boxing.
He probably can.
He could though. Like, that's facts.
Man, you can't think about it. If this was a comic book or something, and you drew a heavyweight champion, you would draw AJ, man. He's gonna sell. I don't give a I don't care what he's doing. He's gonna make money, man. Yeah. And they still after Fury gets all the straps, they'll figure out how to get AJ in there, man.
You know what's funny?
And that was gonna be rough on him too.
I am from England. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because just after the fight, I had actually said if they sold generic boxing toys, the heavyweight champion boxing toy would look like AJ. Like that's basically what we would get.
100%, man.
Yeah,
don't he look like? He needs to be a damn movie star or something after this, huh? Start fighting like Rambo and shit, and fighting other countries and shit, man. He needs to do all that. That's my 2 cents, fellas and ladies.
I do want to say though, like me, I think it doesn't matter who the ref is. It doesn't matter what the ref is going to allow Tyson Fury to do. If Fury's allowed to Greco-Roman Usyk throughout the whole fight with no warnings and put his tits in Usyk's face the whole fight, okay, get him in headlocks and judo throws and all. If he's allowed to do all that, then yeah, I mean, I think he destroys Usyk that way, to be honest with you. But if you have a ref that does something similar to what the ref did in Ali Frazier 3, that told Ali, yo, you can't be holding like that. Okay, you have to fight this dude, and then it became a better fight than the second fight after that. If he has a ref that tells him, no, you ain't gonna do that, let it go away a point really quick from jump, then it said I would still favor Fury, but it would be a much, much more interesting fight if they're forced to box more and Greco-Roman a little less.
Unfortunately, I think the fight could turn out to be kind of like a mucky muck type fight.
It's gonna be a good fight, Beeb. Trust me, it's gonna be a
good fight. I got a feeling Fury's gonna muck it up a little bit. He's gonna make it ugly.
Let me say this: when Joshua tried to hold, you had to pay attention to what Usyk did. Everybody's assuming that if Fury get on the front foot and he crowd him and he try to lean on him, that Usyk is gonna be there for that. Usyk pivot and shift. He shift his weight from the back foot. Like, he know how to turn Fury. He know how to turn Joshua. He know how to turn Joe Joyce. I think a lot of people should go back and watch that fight. He not dealing with nothing that he hasn't seen before already. Like, he already dealt with big guys. Like, I wouldn't say AJ is a good example of Fury, but Joyce is better because he's a volume puncher. He has a beard. He's very big. And Usyk was playing with him. He's playing with him. Only real difference is that was a 5-rounder. That was a semi-pro fight. But that's why I'm kind of on the fence with this. I'm like, yo, I could see Fury hitting him to the body, and that might be it. Because a body shot is not like a headshot. But at the same time, Fury, you get by because you move better than most of the guys around you. You don't move better than this guy. You don't have better feet than this guy. You don't have better combinations than this guy. Everything you do works against kludgy heavyweights. There ain't nothing kludgy about Usyk, bro.
Yep, that's what I agree.
Yeah. I think too, though, what gets overlooked about Fury is he's got a lot of that unorthodox herky-jerky type movement that a lot of fighters just aren't used to seeing. And when you talk about head movement, you guys move their head, but Fury does it very subtly, and he does it constantly, changes the rhythm of how he does it too. Like, a lot of guys will be repetitive with their head movement. They'll go from side to side. Fury's going side to side, back, front, like he's doing circles and stuff. He's got a lot of twitchy, unorthodox movement, and it's hard to kind of pick up on that. And you saw in the fight with Joshua early on, when Joshua was moving his head, he was actually slipping the jab of Usyk. And we also saw a couple times, I thought Joshua landed some clean shots, and Usyk turned away and looked at the ref and was like, okay, these are low, when they weren't low. Kovalev used to do that. Even Lomachenko did that. I don't know if that's a thing, but he didn't react too good to those body shots of Joshua. I think Joshua got a little tired in the last 3 rounds, but he had some momentum going into those last 3 rounds.
He had a path. He had a path to victory, bro.
He had a path to victory.
If he had the energy and he could have kept touching his body and making him poke his ass out, he'd have got him. But AJ don't have. AJ ain't. Have y'all been impressed with? Let me ask y'all something. Y'all been impressed with Usyk heavyweight fights outside of AJ? Because I remember thinking, man, this dude's such a great fighter. Who was that first guy he fought? And it wasn't Chisora, right?
It was Chaz Witherspoon.
Chaz Witherspoon, yeah.
I wasn't impressed with that fight.
Yeah, but
right, and then he fought.
That was a stand-in. That was it. That was like a stand-in. He wasn't supposed to. I think he was supposed to fight Sprong or something like that.
Yeah.
Also, I don't judge him on that fight because that was his first fight at heavyweight. It's kind of like when Valdez first moved up to 30. When Valdez first moved up to 30, he got sat on his back pocket and he had a hard time. But by the time he fought Burchout, he was ready for Burchout. He fucking outclassed Burchout. So that's kind of how I look at Usyk. You really ain't look like all that with Witherspoon.
Who he fought after Witherspoon?
Chisora.
Derek, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, Man, all that magical, mystical shit y'all seeing with Loma and him, man, when they in there with a big boy that fights big, even if they 6'3", but they fight big. See, AJ, man, that was I'm a fan of all these guys, first of all. But AJ, man, he never changed from that amateur boxer. He learned until this fight, he really didn't add no height or nothing. And he was in there trying to box. Them other boys was bigger than him. Remember, Derek Chisora was just coming in rough, real ugly and shit. And he didn't look all that, man. That little shit ain't gonna work, bro, on the big gypsy, man. That's
But I'm gonna
a
say this. I'm gonna say
7
this.
foot dude, man.
I'm gonna say this. Every fighter I spoke to, they all say the same thing. It's harder to fight somebody that's eye level than it is to fight somebody shorter than them. A lot of tall fighters I spoke to, they said, yeah, it's hard to fight a little person because the target is small. I'm trying to hit them with shit, and they not there. Tyson Fury went on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he said, yo, it's hard for me to fight little people. The hardest fight I ever had was Steve Cunningham, a cruiserweight. So when I think about that, and I'm like, yeah, I can see that. Fury arms, what people don't notice, Fury arms is dumb long. So when he get in a guard, it's a big hole right there. You put a punch in there. It's a big hole up here. Put a punch in there, uppercut. So I can't look at Chisora, for example. Yeah, Chisora put pressure, but Chisora's eye level to Usyk. His arms ain't OD long like a tentacle, the way it's holes in the guard. His arms is not like that. So when I think about Fury, I'm like, Fury, you going to try to go for body shots and sweeping hooks, and I just see him getting under that. I just see that. My thing is, you're going to be hitting Fury. Can you actually put a dent in Fury? Because I don't know if you can. Fury, yeah, he get knocked down a lot, but he get up.
Here's another thing that Fury does. If you got to watch Fury, let me get this super chat out the way real quick. Chauncey Pearl says, salute to the panel. Thank you, brother. Let me just tell you one thing that Fury does that's kind of really, really smart. You see when he has that lead hand out there, he opens it up. And a lot of times he'll grab guys. He'll grab them by the shoulder, kind of push them, grab them, maneuver them and stuff. And a lot of times when he gets inside, takes the open hand, pulls in the back of the head, pulls him down. He's real
educated,
really good at doing kind of risque things that you may call
dirty shit,
quote unquote dirty, right?
Dirty shit.
When Hopkins used to do it, they used to call him crafty. But when these are kind of like what you would call dirty boxing, and he knows how to do it very subtly. So I could see him making Usyk very uncomfortable with that hand, opening it up, grabbing him, pushing him, knocking him
I'll
off.
just disagree with a subtle. It's not really subtle. Like
It's kind of
obvious what he's doing. I'm just gonna say that.
Yes.
Well, he knows how to like shield it from the referee because he doesn't get warned a lot when he does it. You notice. Look at the shit he was doing at Cunningham, and he was getting away with it. Took his elbow and he took his forearm and stuck it up underneath. And if you notice when he did it, Cunningham's back was to the referee, and the referee couldn't see it. So you gotta. This guy is smart, man. He knows how to get shit done.
We need an MMA rep for this match.
Like Joe Calix said a smart thing once. He said Fury can be whoever he needs to be in a fight, and that's the thing, man. That's the key thing.
Consistently, he's done that.
Yeah, he's shown us a lot of different looks. Hey, listen, Usyk's got a great chance. Got a great chance to win. We can't. I don't think anyone can dismiss Usyk in this fight. I'm rolling with Fury, but again, I give Usyk all the respect.
It's already prophecy, brother. Shit's in the Bible. You know what I mean? Goliath told David, "Come here, and I'll give you your flesh to the birds in the air and the beasts in the field." That's how he's talking right now. He's cocky like Goliath right now. You know what I mean? Usyk is cool, calm, collected. He prays in the corner, brother. This dude prayed in the corner after the 9th round.
On the 8th round.
Yeah, well, okay, well, either way, but he prayed, and he came out, and he had the power of God behind him.
He also got hit in the body, and he looked up at the sky and made the sign of the cross too. When he got hit with a good body.
That 9th round was rough.
So I'm telling y'all, that man is a Capricorn, man. We don't lose.
Go ahead, Chen.
Yeah, no, that was rough for him. That was rough. He said at the within the 8th round, he said he looked at Joshua, because Joshua had a good 8th round as well, and he said he looked at Joshua and he saw that Joshua. He felt that Joshua had like a victorious expression in his eyes. And he said, and that's actually, he went back to the ring. He went back to his corner. He actually prayed at the end of the 8th round and came out on the 9th and still got Joshua kind of beat him up on the 9th round. But I think the prayer kicked in by the 10th, as we saw.
Yeah.
And the 11th and the 12th.
And that's when it started to kick in.
And here's the thing, too, man. Fury, as big as he is, he doesn't get tired, man.
No, he doesn't get tired.
He does. He's got a good engine, but but this is what we're saying. When you've got someone that is tricky and is going to spin all your angles, you don't know. Like Julius says, Fury's engine is exceptional for other.
Yes, this is what I mean. That like Fury compared to Wilder. Fury compared to AJ. Fury compared to Dillian. Yeah, you got a great gas tank, right? Mm-hmm. But if you in there with somebody that's gonna make you miss, and that's how I felt. Like, yo, this cat, I could see Fury missing most of what he throw because your arms are so fucking big. It's easy for this little motherfucker to get under. It's easy for him to bob and weave that. It's easy for him to slip.
And fights at a welterweight pace, brother.
Exactly. And this guy's a southpaw. So you come out orthodox, he's staying on the outside of your jab. If you come out southpaw, well, look at how you look with Otto Verleen, bro. You look terrible against Otto Verleen. And Otto ain't Usyk. So I'm like, I'm on the fence because, like I said, I could see Fury get up on him, hit him one good time to the body, and that's it. But I could also see Usyk making this man look very silly. I don't want to tell y'all the other shit I see because y'all gonna think I'm crazy. If I tell y'all that I could see Usyk hit timing at the backhand and getting a knockdown like Cunningham, I could see that because everything we say about Fury is based on Wilder. And I remember all them Fury fights before Wilder. Yeah. And you didn't look special. You look special with Wilder, who's a one-handed fighter.
Wilder. You look special with Wilder.
You look special with Wilder. When I see you fight Chisora the first time, you didn't look special. When I seen you fight Otto Verleen 2 years, you didn't look special. You look special with Wilder because you figured Wilder out. Put him on his back foot, crowd him, can't get the arm out, no power. You figured Wilder out. Mm-hmm. Not everybody else.
I don't know, Julius. I think he's gonna pull a rabbit out of the hat like he always does. We always think he's gonna fight one way, like in the second Wilder fight. We didn't think he was gonna fight that way, and he surprised a lot of people.
You are right.
I did.
So he's gonna pull a rabbit.
I did. I called it just what he was gonna do, Wilder. I called it just what he was gonna do. Walk through him and beat him up. Wilder has little to anything I have to do with my opinions about Fury, bro. Little to nothing. Wilder, bro. Listen, Wilder got the crack in his right hand. He got that fucking COVID positive test in his right hand, bro. But that dude, bro, he can't box a Christmas gift, man. And Fury fucked around and let him trying to be safe the first one. But I knew he knew, man, I can't be safe with this dude because this shit came from nowhere and put me on my ass. And I knew he would walk through. And he didn't bother getting in shape for the third one. How much he knew the dude ain't have nothing, bro. Nah, man, I like all that shit I seen Fury do before then. You can't put Usyk out of this fight, sure enough. And he could win. It wouldn't be no Tyson Douglas or no shit like that. But man, this dude is an educated fighter, and like my man said, bro, this dude is hitting you when you don't know it, the refs don't know it, everybody don't know it. He pushes it. What was that? Was Otto the one you talking about? Was that the cut fight? Or was that the other guy?
Verleen was the cut fight. Verleen was the cut fight. Swedish guy.
Yeah, that was a cut.
Yeah, and he was trying to dig in that cut and shit, right? And he was mashing him and all that. I remember that one too.
I liked that shit too. That he was thumbing. That's some old school shit to be.
Yes, man. He was trying to win, man. Anytime you see a guy trying to win, that's what you want to see. And I think Usyk's gonna try to win regardless if he's losing from the beginning or, that dude's a class fighter, man. It's just, he hasn't done, it had nothing to do with that small and tall, bro. Them real heavyweights went to bullying him, and he was good enough, but he looked flat against Witherspoon and AJ is just that, man. What would y'all grade? What's y'all biggest? And again, I like AJ, but what's y'all biggest y'all give credit for AJ. What would you say that he's good at? What's he great at?
I think he's an
Great.
excellent. I think he's an excellent mid-range fighter.
Yeah.
I think he
In
has
the
a
mid?
good jab. I think he has a good
I
jab. I think he has a good right. Look,
Good jab.
AJ
I
does.
like-
Power in both hands.
AJ got a lot of good things. The problem that AJ has is you don't make no adjustments in the fight. That's
Yeah.
the problem. You don't make no adjustments in the fight. That you'll see that some shit ain't working, but you keep doing it. Like if you seeing that it's not working, stop doing that shit. So I feel like what he lacks is instinct. That's what you like. You just keep trying the same shit. Like you keep fencing with the fucking jab. Like fam, that shit is not working. You don't see that shit.
That's what happens when a fighter. That's what happens when a fighter hasn't been well schooled and he's just being told you got to be in better shape than the other guy. That's what happens. And then when a guy like Usyk comes along, who top notch, heads and shoulders above you in ability, that shit ain't gonna get it, man. That shit ain't gonna get it. And you see him, and you be seeing AJ start. It's like you could just see his battery just, and then you got like, all right, he needs a recoup round. He needs an off round now. And you think Usyk don't see that? Everybody sees that, man. So he fights real loud. I heard him say something about front foot and back foot. Fury is never on the front foot, bro. He's always making you come get him. When he's tying up and all that shit, you got to reach this
No,
dude.
that's what he did with Wilder. He did get on the front foot with
Not on
Wilder.
the front foot on Wilder.
What you calling front foot? What you explain that to me? What you mean by that?
The front foot means that you know your lead foot, the foot that's on the same side of the hand that you jab with. That means you stepping into that foot and you standing on that foot. You're not on the balls of your feet. Your whole foot is on the ground and you stepping on that foot and coming forward. That's what he did with Wilder. That's not what he did with Dillian White. That is what he did with Wilder.
Nah, not at all. Not from my vantage point. But again, it's new jargon all the time. I gotta make sure I'm understanding what you're saying, man. Nah, man, that's
it's just
Fury
like, it's
fights.
Hang on. It's not about vantage point, sir. It's a fact. He was front foot dominant in the Wilder from Wilder.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Like he was literally on his front foot. If you stepping on if you coming forward with the same foot that's on the same side of the hand that you jab with, you literally on your front foot.
It's called front.
Where's weight be though? Where's weight be on his hips?
On his front foot because he's coming forward.
It's
No,
called
here's the thing, Coach. I think I know where you're getting at.
Yeah, because I call a front footed fighter, and that's two different things. But again, I'm old school, bro. This might be.
Let me jump in, Coach. I think I know what you're saying. You're saying when he's throwing his power shots, he's leaning back and he's pushing off with his back foot. In other words, is what you're trying to say.
Your weight belongs on your rear hip all the time. When you get caught up in the foot shit, that's when you take advantage of people.
When people say front foot, they mean the guy's coming forward.
Okay, now that I'll agree with that. Yeah, you're coming forward.
I know what you're getting at because I know what my coach used to say all the
Would
time.
you agree? He was the aggressor.
He was the aggressor
in the second fight.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what they mean when they say that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Coach, you also know you got to shift from front foot to back foot depending upon what punch you're throwing. So you know you're gonna shift. You shift it to your front foot when you're throwing your hook. You know
it's just like walking. If you walking, you switching feet. But what I'm saying is,
but when you're jabbing and you're coming forward, you are pushing off with your back foot. But ultimately, the momentum is
if you look at the second, if you look at the third Wilder fight, right? What was he doing? He jab, clinch, clinch off the front foot, jab, clinch, and lean on him, jab, clinch, and until he got him on the ropes. That's when he started hooking off. That's when he started throwing hooks.
He was stepping in hard with his front foot, 100%. I agree with that. But what Coach is trying to say is when you step in with your front foot, you got to push off with your back. But again, that's just semantics, though. I know
we all gonna step front footed if we going forward. Yeah. I'm saying where's his weight rest at during the fight. So this is what I'm saying. Like,
I got you.
What would be a good example of I think I'm clear now with what you were saying. But what would be to me a front footed fighter? What would be a good example of a front foot? It's a gang of
Felix Trinidad was a guy.
Tremendous. He was so front footed that back foot stayed in a track running stance because he was leaning forward.
Guys who are usually left hookers tend to be front foot heavy. But let me let Let me let Calix in here. He's been waiting.
Totally buy all that. I'm with
Calix,
y'all.
what's going on, brother?
What's going on,
How
fellas?
you been?
How y'all doing?
We were just talking about the Fury calling out Usyk and Usyk calling out Fury, and do you think the fight's going to happen? And
and you're religious, man, Calix. You know, it's a little bit like David versus Goliath. No, I mean, a little bit.
let him get in. Let him get in.
Does anybody have a $500 million, or no money, or no money at all? Because
you see the line. You see the line. There's already a line. Money. There's already a line already. They got Fury at like a minus 280. They got Usyk at like a plus 220.
I think the line's correct. The line for Joshua versus Usyk 1 is similar to the line for Fury versus Usyk 1. So once again, they're undervaluing Usyk. And I understand that, right? It's a huge guy against a guy coming up from cruiserweight. I get it. I just think, once again, undervalue Usyk at your own cost.
Yeah, it's a tough fight. It's a tough fight for Fury. There's no question
for both guys. It's a tough fight for both guys. There are things both guys present that's going to give the other guy issues. So, as far as, do I think the fight will happen? I think so. I think so. I think it'll happen in 2023.
I think so.
And we're at an interesting point in time in this division where you have Usyk is, in my opinion, the pound for pound king. On top of that, he's now the lineal heavyweight king. He's got 3 of the 4 belts. We don't know what's going to happen with this WBC. From what I understand, he has until tomorrow to decide.
No, he decided, bro. He decided. He sent a letter saying he's going to keep it.
He's going to keep it. All right, so now he's unretired, unretired. So
you got Usyk as the lineal champion.
Usyk is a lineal champion. So that's good news, though, because that signals that the fight has a much better chance of happening. And it's also good because it keeps the belt out of the hands of the PBC, which would have held that belt up. So it keeps this fight for undisputed in line. I think it'll happen. It's been 20 years since undisputed. Lennox Lewis is pushing for the fight. The fight needs to happen. And also, Deontay Wilder is coming back in the division. He's a net positive for the division, no matter what we think about what he's done in the recent past. And also, for the people who think Anthony Joshua is just going to go away, for the people who think that Anthony Joshua is just going to disappear, it's not going to happen. This dude has built a nice organic fan base. He's done it through a consistent pattern of behavior throughout his career of fighting the top fights that are available for him out there, and he's going to continue to do that. And the only way that Anthony Joshua loses that organic fan base is if he stops behaving like Anthony Joshua. He's the only person who can separate himself from that fan base. No fighter is going to beat him and separate him from that fan base. No matter how many losses the dude has, he's still the cash cow in the division, and he's still the second biggest fighter universally in the sport of boxing, only behind Canelo Alvarez.
So let me segue that into the next topic. Will Anthony Joshua become heavyweight champ again? And who do you guys think he fights next? And who do you want him to fight next? We start with you, D-Star.
I do believe, because he's young enough, and I think he'll be around for a while. So I do think he'll grab a trinket again for sure. Because whether it's Usyk or Fury, no matter who wins, it's going to be like Dragon Ball. Those things are going to spread out, and he's going to grab one of them. But yeah, I do think he'll at least grab, whether you pick whichever one, and he'll get the shot. He'll get the shot because it's already been said. I mean, he's a big name. Those sanctioning bodies, they like that 3%, and why wouldn't they give him a shot? You know, and all that aside, he would. I mean, he's a former 2-time world champion. Now, with that said, Fury's still the lineal champion until somebody beats.
Okay.
I like Joshua's frustration at the end. You know, when the fight was over, that showed me he gave a fuck. AJ ain't going nowhere, bro. It's too for all the reasons y'all saying, for all those reasons, man. And they'll figure out a way to get him a champ again, and he may get it, for real. Like he'll beat whoever he say he gotta beat. But Joshua, yeah, I like that he was so frustrated at the end of that fight, and I liked how he was being brutally honest about, man, I trained my ass off for this dude.
Save that, Coach, because that's one of the topics. We're gonna talk about that later. So save that, and you can bring that up when we talk about it later. Lady Chen, you think Joshua can be champ again, and who would you like to see him fight next?
Yeah, definitely, because there's such a big dip from the top four. You know, if you're going to put Wilder, Fury, Usyk, AJ, then there's a significant drop in levels, in my opinion, from after four. And to me, Anthony Joshua mops up yet again the disasters that Fury creates. Anthony Joshua always comes to the rescue and cleans up belts. So that there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be 3-time unified, not just cop one belt. He'll unify at least 2 belts, in my opinion. For him to fight, who to fight next? Mauricio Suleiman's already came out on record, like you said, that he likes that 3% D style. So he's already welcoming Anthony Joshua into the WBC fold. So, you know, where there's money, there's a belt, and and there's a position to fight for a belt. And there's nobody that's going to tell Anthony Joshua out of those sanctioning bodies that he can't contend for a belt. So probably, you know, he can fight anybody, I guess, coming back. They'd have to be in the top 10 to 15. Pretty easy just to get his feet wet, but maybe an Otto Wallin just to show like how he dealt with a Wallin with a common opponent that Fury's had. So maybe get some more southpaw experience because he's only fought 2 southpaws to my knowledge. So and you saw what he did with the first one. But yeah, so I think maybe he could even fight Joseph Parker again. Whoever wins out of Parker and Joe Joyce would be a good title contention, maybe somehow, some way. But yeah, so that's where I think maybe Otto Wallin or something like that.
I like the Zilly Zhang fight because he's another southpaw too, and that guy is very exciting. He's hittable. That would be a great fight for Joshua, I think. I like that one.
Yeah, that would be a good fight.
Yeah. Coach, do you think AJ can be champ again, and who would you like to see him fight next?
I'm with the lady, man. I think he'll draw. He'll draw no matter who he's fighting, man. And there's no way they're not gonna figure out a way. Listen, regardless of what happens with the Usyk Fury thing, we know all them straps are gonna get shook out after that. You know, some kind of way. Somebody's getting stripped. Somebody's doing something. So they gonna figure out a way for him to get. And in my world, I mean, I call Joe Joyce slowpoke, right? Man, that's an educated boxer too, bro. It's like he's fucking fighting in water. But if he hits you, that's a wrap. So he's coming. That's a cash. That's a big old fight, man, for one of them. Yeah, man, heavyweight boxing been great for the last couple of years, man. It's just getting better. The more upsets and all this type of thing, because it's top guys, man. I watch AJ fight fucking nobody in the comeback fight. I want to see what he does after facing this adversity. So I don't think AJ is going nowhere. And given Wilder that his sparring partner, they trying to get him right back in the mix. All these guys, man, I just it's great, man. It's great for boxing, but you ain't gonna let and what you said, WBC already done said they gonna fool with Joshua. That's the only one he didn't have, right? Ever?
Yeah, they'll put him in the rankings. They'll rank him.
Yeah.
That sanctioning fee, man, on top of that whatever that $1 zillion he's making for whatever he's fighting, man. That's how that shit works, bro. That's why we can't get caught up as fans and trainers and media or whatever we all are. That's why we can't get too caught up in the sanctioning bodies, bro. Because half the time they ain't even got the main fighter. The main fighter. Go look at it any given moment. Go look at the WBA's top 10 of any weight class, and it'll be people who ain't fought in 5 years, man. On the top 10, man. I don't get caught up in them. It's like it's almost a what they call that a necessary evil dealing with the sanctioned bodies, man, because you need them. Your kid has to be ranked by somebody in order to get him some paydays and slide in there, man. But I just like when you get guys like Usyk and Fury and all them, and they willing to fight whoever, man. Them guys is real fighters, man. Let's make it happen. I mean, I'm sure all the money helps too, but it. Usyk's gonna go in there and try to get him. Fury's gonna try to get him. AJ's gonna try to win whatever fight he's doing, and that's what makes good boxing to me, man.
Gotcha.
Heavyweight wise.
Gotcha, brother. Julius, do you see AJ becoming champ again, and who do you want to see him fight next?
Whether or not he could become champ depends on who wins. Because if Fury wins, I could definitely see AJ versus Fury right after that. It's the only money fight left for Fury. And I think because of what it means domestically, he would give AJ the shot. So then it's a question of, do you think AJ could beat Fury? I'm not sure about that anymore. Not sure. Now, if Usyk retires, I could definitely see AJ picking up a title. If Usyk wins, because he'll retire after that. The belts will get redistributed. By that time, AJ will be in position with one of the sanctioning bodies to scoop up a belt. And to Lady Chan's point, which I agree with, if you're not talking about 3 or 4 guys, the talent level drops significantly.
Yeah.
I don't see a guy in Hergovic that beats AJ. I don't see a guy in Zhang that beats AJ. I don't see Dubois don't beat him. Joyce don't beat him. I seen the sparring session. Yeah, he don't beat that guy. Now, the only guy I see that is capable of beating most of these guys, and he's on his way up, is Jalilov. That's it. The talent that kid got, with the size he got, with the power he got, with the pedigree he got, he the one that could probably end up being like the dude a couple of years from now. But as far as who I want to see AJ fight, I want him to fight Valeen, and Valeen want to fight him. He said he want to fight him. I want him to fight Valeen because if you
That sounds good.
If you could go in there with Valeen, who is your old sparring partner, who gave Tyson Fury a hard time, that's a good little fight to come back on. Because what if you knock him out? Then you could be like, see, I knocked out Valeen. Where Fury couldn't knock him out, I knocked him out. And that'll get the juices going again. So I like Valeen. I don't really like Zhang for 2 reasons. Even though I know Zhang won that fight, he coming off a loss on paper. And he damn near 40. So that's that shit talking, that's going to be bullshit. Valeen has had a couple fights since the Fury fight. He coming off of wins. So the fight I want is Joshua Valeen in November or December. Whether or not I think AJ could become a 3-time champion, that depends. If Usyk wins and he retires, then AJ could become champion. If Fury wins, he gonna fight AJ, and then that's a whole different conversation after that.
Yeah, I think you guys are swaying me towards that Wallin fight too. I'm starting to see the angle.
Yeah, I like it. That sounds good.
That's starting to make sense to me. Calix, you think Joshua can become champ again, and who'd you like to see him fight next?
Definitive yes. When we look at the top 4, who's the guy that we would most like? Who's the guy most likely to be around still 5 years?
Yeah, he's the youngest of all of them too.
Anthony Joshua. He's going to be around for a while. So Julius just threw out an interesting scenario in which Fury picks up all the belts in the undisputed fight and still fights Anthony Joshua because it's too big of a fight to just pass up. So even if he were to lose that fight, he's still around a year after that, 2 years after that. Usyk has already signaled he's not going to be around much longer. He just wants the Fury fight. Fury, I don't think he's going to be around much longer than those 2 matchups right there.
Two more
AJ is going to be around. He's going to be around, and he's consistent. He has a consistent pattern of behavior, whereas Wilder is up and down. So out of the top 4, the guy that I see still around 3, 4, 5 years down the line is Anthony Joshua. He's going to be around too long. And let's say Usyk wins this fight. All the belts are going to go up in the air, much like what's happening with Josh Taylor now. Vacant. Who do you think is going to get the first shot at that? Anthony Joshua. And that leads me to the second question. Anthony Joshua against anybody is still a big fight. The guy is a walking, talking big fight. So the guy is a walking big fight. So the main thing here is activity. Get him back November and December and exercise those demons, because it's what happened with Mick Conlan, right? Mick Conlan gets knocked out the ring in the 12th round. We don't know if we'll ever see him again. 6 months later, he comes back against a Colombian puncher, and he wins the fight. He exercises the demons quick, and he's right back into talks of top 10, 126 pounds. So get him active. That's the main thing. It doesn't matter who it is. Let him catch a body in November, December. As far as what I want to see, the fight I still want to see is Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. I still want to see that fight.
Me too.
Kelly, I want that shit, man. But I'm going to tell you, I looked in my crystal ball. That shit ain't never going to happen. And I said that shit 4 years ago.
Yep.
They want the look. Wilder very recently released some audio. A lot of people are interpreting a lot of ways. I interpreted this. He's talking about his own fault. talking about his own people, the suits on his side
Yep.
that are holding up fights, because that's what I've been saying. Them cats is holding up fights over there. And I felt like he was talking about them. He not talking about some other people because he don't be around no other people.
You know who Wilder's been talking about? Wilder has been projecting big time. He's been talking about his promotional company, his advisor, and himself. When he's saying that Anthony Joshua, he lost his soul, and Anthony Joshua, this is what happens when you're guided carefully, or whatever he said throughout your career. He's talking about himself. He's looking in the mirror. He's projecting.
I'm saying Anthony Joshua was fighting for a motherfucking world title at 16-0. He was fighting a Hall of Famer at 19-0. He was unifying the title at 20-0. I could tell you who Wilder was fighting at them at that same time. He's still fighting journeyman with upside down records. How he sound saying that? How you sound, my man? You was 33-0 before you got to fight Stavern.
Yeah.
Stavern.
He was a decade into his career before he got his first big victory against Luis Ortiz. He was 7 years in before he got a real belt. Yeah. And we were forgiving of that, by the way. I was very forgiving of it. I was a fan still at that point. I wanted a heavyweight champion from the South in America. That's what I wanted. But it didn't develop. It didn't happen. And Anthony Joshua, throughout his career, Anthony Joshua doesn't have to apologize to anybody, in my opinion. Nobody. He lost the fight. He lost to a better fighter, but he doesn't have to apologize to anybody because he's giving us big, entertaining fights in the division. And Usyk doesn't make 40 million plus against anybody else, not even close.
So since you brought that up, and I know Coach touched upon it, let's talk about Anthony Joshua's immediate post-fight reaction, because I know even now it's been a couple of days and people are still talking about a lot of mixed opinions. Coach, we'll go right back to you. You were already talking about it. Let's continue on what you were saying about that post-fight reaction from Joshua.
I didn't. Y'all may have, but I did the night of the fight, watching the fight. I didn't remember seeing him throwing the belt shit. So I didn't even see that. But I seen that long dragged out speech and shit, right? But so I'm looking at that and I'm going, yeah, it's a half-ass, emotional thing. But he was giving Usyk all his props to me, saying, you was better than me. I'm talking about even on the ring canvas, bowing down and shit with the dude while he's praying and shit. And then on social, I seen where he like chucked the belts or something, dropped the belts over the ropes. I ain't got no clarity on that, but I just felt like the dude was emotional as shit, bro. He fought his ass off. He did the best he could, right? And you can see with a new corner and all that shit, man, he trained his ass off. He tried, he pitched a bitch. He did better than the first time, but still got, I don't know what the fuck that judge was looking at, but we all know half judges don't. You ever seen a judge in the gym? Because I haven't. I've been doing this shit 25 years. I ain't never seen a judge in a boxing gym, ever, not once. So I think AJ was just frustrated, man. He couldn't hell, he told the truth. Say, man, I'm stronger than you, punch harder than you, and all this shit, man. What's going on? Well, I couldn't beat you. But I thought it was just emotional shit, bro. And what my man just said, who just came on here, he don't need to apologize for nobody for nothing, man. For nothing, bro. This dude has fought valiantly and wins, losses, he's trying to do, and he kind of listens to his corner too. If you think about it, he goes to the corner in the loss to Usyk. He was going to the corner like, "How I'm doing, man? This shit don't seem right," and they lying to him. You're doing good, champ. Nah, man, this dude's beating the shit out of me, man. But I just thought he was emotional, bro. At the end of the fight, man. So I give him a pass on the shit because I thought he was steady giving the dude his props. Even walking out and turning around, coming back to the ring, had that moment of saying, "Hey, what the fuck I'm doing? Let me get back in this ring and tell this dude, great fight or whatever." But that's what I seen, man. What y'all seen?
Thank you, D-Style. He says, hit the like button. Thank you for the super chat. Calix, you said he didn't have to apologize for anything. Did you think he did anything wrong in that post-fight speech? What are your thoughts on that?
The only thing I would say and I'm not here to tell AJ what he needs to do, but it is disrespectful to throw. It's now Usyk's belt, and you're grabbing him and throwing him over the ring. So I get it.
Did they ever explain that, bro? Did they explain that? what he was? Did he ever say what he was doing?
Yeah, he kind of said like, he was, I guess he was fighting for the belts all his career, and like he had to pay all these sanctioning fees, and he just was the frustration of, having a.
That's what Eddie Hearn said. He said he disillusioned. He don't believe in the system no more. That was the explanation he gave.
That was
He
the
don't believe
quote.
in
That was the
system
actual
no
quote.
more.
Yeah.
So he wasn't shitting on Usyk. He was shitting on the belts.
Yeah. We shit on the sanctioned bodies.
Go ahead, Calix. Finish up, man.
No, I was just gonna say I don't read too much into it, and he was emotional. And if you look at it, it was up and down, right? Because at first he's aggravated, then he gives props, then he's walking out of the ring, and then he comes back and then gives Usyk some props and Lomachenko some props on the microphone, whatever that was, and then he goes back and he's crying at the press conference. So it's just him being frustrated. He fully believes he's going to win the fight. He falls short. And I just have a 72-hour rule, man. Like, as a former athlete competitor, you know how it is when you lose. You know how it is. I have a 72-hour rule. Once it's 72 hours, you got to be over it. Like, you got to start hitting people with the PC. Oh, props to Usyk, props to his team. I'm moving on, and face it that way. So I forgive that. Once it gets past 72 hours, once it's months after, and this was the issue I had with Wilder, it's like,
Wilder didn't let it go.
You gotta let it go. Your trainer didn't poison you. Anybody who's ever used egg weights knows egg weights were not in the glove. You've got to let it go. And I fully expect AJ to do that. He's already done it. And that's what I'm saying.
He already apologized.
I look at track record. It's a consistent pattern of behavior with AJ that maybe there's an outburst here and there, but that's the exception. That's not the rule. The rule is he gives his top fights. He moves on when he loses. He tries to avenge his losses right away when he loses. And this time he didn't avenge it. He took it a little hard for a little while, and I can be forgiving of that.
Got you. Lady Chen, I know you talked about it yesterday a little bit, but just what did you think about it?
He's damned if he does. He's damned if he don't. When AJ had his first loss to Andy Ruiz, and the first loss to Usyk, everybody was coming out saying AJ looks too comfortable in losing. He doesn't express enough emotion. He's too nice. He's too this. Wow, wow. Then he does the flip side and spazzes out, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's classless." It's like, which one do you want him to? What do you want him to do? Because when there's real classless acts, and I could name a significant amount of classless acts that Tyson Fury's done, significant classless amounts of acts that Deontay Wilder's done, and I could go down the list, and I could go back towards Mike Tyson, and we all loved it, and we all cheered it, and we was all like, "What then?" Mike Tyson wanted to eat people's kids and praise to Allah, and then like the total contradiction in that whole statement. But everyone was like, "Yeah, that's Mike. He's a dog. He's an animal. Go, Mike!" Like, do you understand? but then we move it along to AJ. The goalpost always moves. There's always double, triple, quadruple standards. He's never held to the same regards as anybody else. So fuck it. You said what you said. You did what you did. And like my guy said, there's a 72-hour rule. He came out and he said sorry. He's not talking about people poisoned him, that the Nevada State Commission was against him, or this commission was against him. We kept it moving. And I'm cool with it. You did what you did, and that's it.
D-Style, what did you think about it, man? What are your thoughts?
I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with Lady Chan. Look, the goalpost isn't moving. First, it's kind of like a soccer player just tapping the soccer ball, and it just rolls over to the goalie. And you tell him, "Bro, you got to hit that. You got to hit it harder. What are you doing?" And then he hits it like to the stands. You know what I mean? That's what this is. Like, this is like the way you acted against Andy. And by the way, I don't have an issue with either, but I don't agree with the notion that he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. I think there's a middle ground, right? Being going from very passive and very happy, or looking happy anyway, to spazzing out is one extreme to another. Like, it's not that hard to just like yo, don't spaz out. Like, I don't think that's what people were asking him to do at all, actually. Now, granted, I want people to be authentic anyway. If AJ felt that way in that moment, fuck it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. That's how he felt. He gave us a promo. AJ 316 says I'm gonna throw these belts out here. Well, whatever you want to say, do your promo. It's cool. You know what I mean? He owned up to it. He apologized the next day, but I don't believe the goalpost is moving. I think it's el mono. It's a soccer player. That's what this is, in my opinion. What I'll say is this: I thought it shouldn't even happen in the first place. Like AJ walked all the way to the back, and then he did like an old school wrestler Hulk Hogan when he looks back. And then he darted back to the ring. He gets in there. And there's a problem. And I want to give a shout out to Mr. Boxing Today. There's an issue when Derek Chisora is the voice of reason. When Derek Chisora.
I seen that.
When Derek, the dude that got glassed and slammed the dude through the table and spit water in the face of Klitschko, when that dude's like, yo, you got to calm down, brother. Like, what's going on here? You know that there's an issue, right? He was out of control. Usyk tried to talk to him. Like, he tried to, talk to him. Like, hold on, listen. He didn't listen to him. You know what I mean? Usyk had to grab his flag back. I think that was a little bit extreme. And I'm glad that he did take accountability for that. He did apologize for that. And that, in the end, that's what matters, right? But, hey, it's how he felt. It is what it is. I just don't agree that he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. I think it was an extreme on one side and the other, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Ring, what was your take on the whole post-fight reaction?
I'm kind of in agreement with Lady Chen because I saw after the Ruiz loss and after the Usyk loss, you had Teddy Atlas on his podcast. Oh, this dude is just too gracious. He too comfortable losing. Yep. And he wasn't the only one that was saying that. It was a lot of people that were saying that. So when you get the opposite of that, you want to see passion and shit, right? You about to see some fucking passion. And then when you get the passion, you don't like the passion neither. So if he don't say shit, you don't like that. But if you show the passion, you don't like that neither. Me personally, I think it was Coach that said it, and I said it immediately after the fight. I like that he got mad. Why? Because that shows you still care. You still care. Right. You really tried, and it didn't work, and you mad. And that's what you're going to take in with you to the next camp. When it's time to beat up the next guy, you got that passion. That's good. As far as, do I think it's a big deal? Listen, I grew up in an era where Larry Holmes leg drop motherfucking Trevor Burbick.
I remember
that. I grew up in an era where Mike Tyson ran across the motherfucking shit and bit Lennox Lewis on the leg. This shit that be going on today don't bother me. Remember when they got mad at Wilder? Because he said he want to catch a body. You know what I mean? I don't even believe Wilder because you don't look like that kind of person. I know you. I know what you're doing, and for me it came off as very fake and very rehearsed. But everybody got mad about this shit. I'm like, why y'all getting mad at that shit? He don't mean that shit. He don't even really mean that shit, man. You know what I mean? Like the shit that goes on today is just PG and PC. Like, think about it. They mad that AJ got upset. That's the story. He got mad.
Got upset. Yeah.
Got mad. And that's so like what he did. He took the belt. Listen, he took the belt and he threw it.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
That's the worst.
He shouldn't be allowed to box no more then. Because he did.
No, look, I'm not. All I want to say is this: you don't think it was a bit much?
No.
Nah, because people. Maybe it's me because I followed Oleksandr Usyk, right? And this is what I'm gonna say: that man is under a lot of pressure because since 16-0, he been in title fights, right? And that's different than a lot of other guys. That's different than his contemporaries. They wasn't 16-0 having to defend titles and sell tickets and your reputation and you were cash cow and everybody scrutinizing all the shit you say, how you cool the soup, what you use, what kind of soup it is. It's different. So when I seen him explode, I'm like, nah, that's overdue. That's the pressure of being 16-0. That's cool. Do that. Let it go. Let it out. Fuck it. Curse out Usyk. Curse out Eddie. Curse out people in the corner. Curse out Robert Garcia. Do what you got.
Are you upset that he apologized?
Well, yeah, but I mean, he human is what I'm saying. He a human being. I don't expect him to be perfect. He a human being.
Let me just say one more thing. So look, I get all that, right? If you want to talk about pressure, I mean, you have Oleksandr Usyk, who's under pressure himself. He's been fighting on the road his whole career. He had to get the belt from AJ in London. He had to go to AJ's home away from home in Saudi Arabia.
Kind of
Got
pressure.
the belt.
Tremendous pressure.
His
And
country's
war,
being ravaged by
tremendous pressure.
war. Like and all that. He didn't act that way.
No, but
Different
why
type of-
would he? No, but see, that's the thing, right? You're using the pressure that Usyk's under right now.
Sure.
Usyk, who's a Capricorn like me, very excellent. We don't lose that shit, right? Shit.
You got me there.
Usyk ain't got nothing to be mad at the same way I ain't got nothing to be mad at. I'm motherfucking won. Why would I throw my belts on the floor? I ain't got nothing to be mad at. I just made $75 million. I'm going to be mad?
But
You
that's
could be
my
mad
point.
at me?
Julius, the thing I didn't like was, I know algorithms is all different for whatever I guess we looking at on social media. I just didn't like how the next day it was at the spin was Anthony Joshua lost and he pitched a bitch and he thought it's like they was acting like he thought he won. He threw the belts down and all that shit. And I'm like, that ain't what I seen at all. Like he was humble as shit to this dude.
Listen, coach, they spun it. They spun it.
Yeah,
because
they
that's
spun
what
it big time, bro. They
because
spun
that's
it
what
big
to me-
time to me.
that's what I'm talking about. That whenever that man do something,
It's
they
been-
always blow it out of proportion.
And that's what Lady Shane's saying when she's saying the goalpost moved.
Yes.
The goalpost did move. It did move
You know what it is, though? Here's the thing.
on that one.
Here's the thing,
Yeah.
because he's been so cool and calm and collective, and he's always played that, the nice guy role. He's a nice guy, comes off as, right? So when they see that, it catches everyone off guard.
Beeb, we in the same age group, right? You remember Police Academy? You remember the little chocolate joint? She'll talk
Yes.
real soft most of the movie. And
Yes.
it'll always be one scene in the movie where she'll let it out. Fuck off,
Yeah.
right? That's AJ, bro. That's what happened. It's not a big deal. He got mad that he lost. Oh my God. He got mad that he lost. Chill.
Yeah.
Take his boxing license. He got mad.
Like, look, it is what it is. Like, everyone is different, right? Like, Marquez, he was so pissed off, he got naked and did an interview with a sombrero covering his private. It is what it is, right? So it is what it is.
That was crazy. That shit was crazy.
Oh shit! But I ain't like look. If he would have did something, if he would have disrespected Usyk after the fight, I would have had an issue with that. But he did. He gave him his props. He was like, "Yo, how the fuck did you beat me? I'm bigger than you. He gave him his props. He didn't really, aside from throwing the belts, which I understand. He been paying these people saying his whole last, I'm gonna say 4 or 5 years have been about them belts. So I get the frustration. Like I understand, he's human. But outside of that, no controversial shit happened. Like Mike biting Lennox on the leg was some controversial shit. The melee outside of Trevor Berbick versus Larry Holmes, that was controversial. Fan Man was controversial. This shit, Galata punching Riddick Bowe in the dick, giving him a shoe shine in the dick. That's controversial. This shit, he got mad. He literally did a shoe shine in Riddick Bowes.
There's another angle to this too. Is in D-Style, we used to at Hailstorm, we used to cover every sport, and me and Hale used to talk about this ad nauseum. It's this AAU generation coming up. We hate this generation, this culture of basketball players who, after they lose a game, they're smiling, they're dapping each other up. Happen a playoff game, they're dapping each other up like nothing happened. I'd rather this. I guys who are passionate, and I always give forgiveness to dudes right after. Like I remember when who did Cotto lose to? It was maybe Margarito, whoever it was. He left the ring. It was Mayweather too, and he left the ring. And people were like, "Oh, he should have stayed. He should have." I'm always forgiving the 72-hour rule. Once again, I'm forgiving of it, but I'd rather dudes be visibly upset. I'd rather dudes be pissed off by losing as a fan of that sport than dudes who are just passionless and acting. And it's a generational thing. If you watch basketball, you'll see it. NFL too. These dudes smiling, taking off their helmet after the game, after a loss, like it's nothing, like it's just business. I'd rather dudes who take it serious and act like they just lost something.
The passion
from AJ.
Motherfucking passion. I admire the passion. Like, yes, show that shit. So when you got the next fight, channel that anger and take it out on Otto Verline, December at the O2 Arena.
You're a promoter, huh?
Fucking right. Trying to get this money. I'm just, but real shit though. How you gonna get like? How can I get
bro?
mad
Hey, bro.
that he- how
and
we
one of
gonna
my
get mad
fighters
that
get
he
hit
got
hard.
married?
One of my fighters get hit hard in sparring, I'm hot. So you know what I'm saying? Hey, you ain't supposed to enjoy fucking losing, but you know, and my man Callis is right too. I like that 72-hour rule you got, bro. I think that's very fair. You know what I'm saying? These kids is fighting their heart out, man, and you know, trying to hold them to some kind of bullshit ass standard, bro. You know, the spin was disingenuous, bro. The next day it was he threw Usyk's belts out the ring because he lost.
Because
That ain't what the fuck happened, man.
the media needs something to write about, so they got to
Yeah,
spin
bro.
it. They need something to write about. They got to make it into more, and that happens with a lot of stories today. It's not just boxing. It's a lot of that in general. They'll take something that really, fam, a boxer, this is the story. If I just tell you the story, this is the story. A boxer got mad that he lost a fight. That's it. He gave an awkward speech. He didn't even say nothing bad about you. He ain't call Usyk a bitch or nothing bad. He gave him his props. So that's the story. A boxer got mad that he lost a fight. Oh my God. What we gonna do?
I mean, it was. I'm just gonna have to disagree with you guys. It was a tad bit much. Like that. That's all I'm saying.
It was some run-on sentences, but yeah, yeah, he overdid it. But yeah, I didn't see him being a poor sport. Hey, no bigger critic than Wilder than me, and how gallantly he fought Fury in that third fight. I mean, even when he got knocked out, he was trying to get up and keep fighting. I was like, damn, he really believes the motherfucker loaded his gloves and shit. So I'm gonna just say he's slow, but damn, I'm gonna forgive him because he fought hard as shit, man. He fought hard as shit, bro. He was trying to win. I'm like, this crazy dude really thought all that stupid shit. But in the ring, he proved to me he wasn't a hoe. You see what I'm saying? Like he was really trying to fucking get this dude, bro. And so I was like, I forgive all that shit, man. I don't even care no more. I was dragging him way past 72 hours, bro. I was dragging him for months. And then I say, look at this dude trying to win this fight, man. You got to respect it.
Let me say this, coach. Him doing that to Mark Breland, see, that bothered me.
That was whole shit. That was whole shit. He was the only dude telling you the truth. He was the only dude telling you the truth and caring about you. Yeah, that was whole shit.
That was one thing. And I said this shit as soon as these accusations start. I'm like, yo, you get rid of Mark Breland. The next time you fight this guy and he's not there to save you, you gonna fucking you gonna go out on your shield. You gonna be ruined. All Mark Breland did was save you because he knew you would have kept fighting, and you probably would have got worse if he would have let you keep fighting. Mark saved you, and how you thank him for saving you? You gonna accuse him of? You think he jealous? He's spiking your drip like.
He should have stopped it when he was trying to initially stop it. It could have been stopped then. What, 2 rounds before then? Yeah, man. Mark only cared about you, but Mark's the real boxing guy over there, bro. That's the difference.
Well, he kept JD's. He kept the Pilates guy, but he got rid of the actual world champion, the former Olympian, the only one that knows what you're going through in that ring because he's been there himself. It's not a coincidence that the one guy that could tell you different, that's the dude you got rid of. And that's why I didn't pity him. Didn't like, all right, you want Fury to do that again?
Right, like
you do it again. But this time Mark won't save you. Mark won't be there.
Like you kept the dude that you believe was like you believe there was an egg waiting in love.
And look, Jay was the one that was watching the hands get wrapped. So if you believe that they put something in there, how does he still have a job and Mark don't? Mark wasn't overseeing the rap. Jay was overseeing the rap. But Jay still got a job because Jay sniff ass, I guess. I don't know. Brown knows, I guess. But he didn't lose his job. Mark loses his job.
That dude, that phony Jay Diaz dude, that phony motherfucker could have spoke up and said, champ, that ain't what happened. I was there. I watched him get his gloves on and shit like that. Nah, he ain't got no character, bro. But when you surround yourself with people like that, man, that's what you get. And he's lucky the big gypsy ain't getting shape for that third fight too. Because he'd have pressed him out worse. And he still cooked him, man. That shit, hey, bro. I just said the way he's trying to win surprised me. Because normally with excuses come, a lack of character. In other words, you ain't going to get up for this next fight. You going to get in there and claim cheating again when you get your ass whooped. But hell, he kept on fighting his ass off, man. And it's hard for me to understand that dude, bro. Like, it doesn't make no sense to me. His logic.
His reality got shook up. That's how I reconcile it. His reality got shook up. because truth be told, quiet is kept, and this is just reality. Fury had no reputation, and Lady Chan will tell you because she's from the UK. Fury had no reputation as a puncher until that second fight. That means when you picked him,
Correct.
you was picking somebody with a reputation. They ain't got no power. They ain't got no power.
Right.
That's why you picked him. So when he get in there and he do that to you, your reality is like, ain't no way. This dude is not a puncher. How he knocked me out? They must have drugged me.
Yeah, you're trying
Nah,
to rationalize. You're trying to rationalize it in your head how that happened.
Exactly. Like his world
believe
got
it.
shook up.
Can't believe it. He was in denial about the whole thing.
It is what it is. But he's gonna knock out Hellenius, and then we'll see what happens. He'll knock out Hellenius. I think he's gonna knock out Hellenius.
But speaking of Wilder, it's already been reported that Eddie Hearn reached out to Wilder's team, and we heard that Wilder's reaction that he's busy, right? But that's a fight that fans still want. I know Calix, you want it. I still want it. So if that fight were to happen, do you guys think that fight would be a bigger fight, Wilder versus Joshua, than Fury versus Usyk?
Organically, yes. Organically, in terms of fans, with no Saudis, with no big site fee, just off of people that want to pay to be there and pay to see it, absolutely. That's a huge fight. Those are the two biggest boxing markets in the world, America and the United Kingdom. That fight is still box office with no belts. But I'm just going to tell the panel, it's not going to happen. Don't look for it. It's not going to happen.
I know.
Ever.
Yeah.
Calix, do you think that fight would be a bigger fight than Fury Usyk?
Yeah. Yes. Anything Anthony Joshua was involved in, yes. But like Ring was saying, and like I was saying earlier, and why I'm happy that the PBC, it looks like isn't going to get a hold of this WBC belt. They just hold things up. And I'm glad they're not going to get a hold of this WBC belt, it looks like, and they would hold that fight up. Look, the angle they're playing right now, to me, looks like Wilder versus Ruiz next, right?
Yeah.
Are we all in agreement that's what's going to happen next? And
I agree.
depending on how that plays out, I don't know. But I just don't trust Wilder and his team to cross that aisle and fight Anthony Joshua.
It's never going to happen, bro. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, it would be a no-brainer to me, man. I just don't see a bigger fight for Wilder out there than Joshua. That's why it just baffles the mind why he won't do it. But D,
Finkel
what do you
won't
think?
let him. Finkel won't let him. It's Finkel, bro.
D, what do you think, brother? Think that's a bigger fight than Usyk Fury?
I actually don't think it's a bigger fight than Usyk versus Fury. I don't. And here's the reason why. I get that Joshua has star power, and I get that they have a history, but I just think it's expired milk at this point. Of course, people will still watch it. Sure. Of course they will. But maybe in the United States, maybe. But in the world, no. It's not. And I think Fury has already started to plant the seeds on how they're going to sell this fight with Usyk. He's going to be the heel. He couldn't really be the heel with White. He couldn't be the heel with all the. We just talked about all the accusations that Wilder was throwing out. He couldn't even be the heel for that fight. He's a natural heel. He's a bad guy, and he's playing that role. And I think a lot of sympathy is going to be created for Usyk. I think people are going to rally behind Usyk, right? And I think organically the fight will grow. Interest will grow, and it is for the. And I think people have lost sight that this is for the undisputed, not just undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. That's what this fight is for. And people know who Fury is now, right? People know who he is. Like, it's not like, after the two Wilder fights, who do things came out on top? He came out on top. They remember him as the one with his arms in the air, and Wilder laid flat on the mat. Like, anyone who knows Wilder knows Fury, period. So, and anybody knows AJ, they know Usyk now, right? So to me, it's a bigger fight.
Okay. Lady Chen, what do you think? What's a bigger fight, Wilder versus Joshua or Fury versus Usyk?
Well, for the good of the sport, technically the undisputed heavyweight fight is a bigger fight, but for the people, because of who's involved, I guess, people would rather see AJ and Wilder to a degree. They're both big fights. But I mean, when we say that ship has sailed, Yeah, we do say that, but as boxing fans, as the run-up comes up, you know, all the tickets sell, and we were all invested. Like, at this point, we were all like, nah, that ship sailed. But I guarantee if the fight day was set for Wilder and Joshua, that would sell, and that would be a massive fight. So it's whatever the weather. But I'm with Julius and with the other guys that it's just not going to happen anyway. PBC Island, yeah, I'm glad that they don't have this belt in their paws, because they just hijack belts and they stagnate the division, and that's what Wilder did for a long time.
Can I say this, B? Look, when they announced Khan versus Brook, right? I told everybody they was moaning. It's past the sell-by date, right? Yada yada yada. Yeah. Night of the fight, that shit did great at the box office. That shit did great at the gate. It did better than Spence versus Ugas, which was a unification match. And that's what I mean. Everybody say it at first, but that day you gonna want to see that fight, and it's gonna be a lot of people just like you that want to see that fight.
Yeah, Fury versus Wilder, the first fight, right? That did 300,000 pay-per-view buys in the United States, and that was, you know, with no one really knowing Fury. And the second fight ended up doing like 850,000 pay-per-view buys. So, you know, I think Wilder has kind of made a name for himself over here, and obviously Joshua's huge, anyways, right? So, I think if, you know, Wilder and Joshua fought and it was on Fox pay-per-view over here, I think it could do
over 1 million, bro. Over 1 million.
And you know what?
Because of the fans, bro.
Yeah.
That fight is not about no belt. That fight is about the arguments that all of us have been having for 4 fucking years of arguing and looking at boxes.
That's 4 years in the making.
All right. And I'm telling you, that shit probably could do 1.5. But unfortunately, right, Wilder does not have the autonomy that AJ has. Like, AJ is literally Eddie Hearn boss. Like, it don't be Eddie telling him this and that. It be AJ telling Eddie this and that. Whereas Wilder, he got Finkel in the pot, JD's in the pot, Al Heyman in the pot. It's like, it ain't gonna happen, man. It ain't gonna happen.
Gotcha. Coach, what do you think, man? What fight you think's bigger, Wilder versus Joshua, or Usyk versus Fury?
And what context? Just in popularity, you mean?
I would say in popularity. I would say, you know, just revenue generated. I think public interest.
Hey, until I was introduced to the Wilder cult, I didn't even know that shit existed, bro. But then once I got introduced, I say, oh shit, he's got like massive fans, bro. Like, he's got fans for real in America. I wouldn't have thought he had the fans he had, is what I'm saying. So I would, you know, my first mind would go to Usyk Fury, but nah, man, maybe not, because AJ is such a star, world global star, and Wilder's got America, got a section of America, man, and so I don't know, bro. That's probably wasn't what, eh? What you think? Them two fights.
Yeah, I think the Wilder Joshua fight would be bigger in terms of just.
Yeah, it probably would be more popular, more buys and shit. It probably would.
It's why it frustrates me hearing Deontay Wilder react the way he did when he's talking about how Eddie Hearn reached out to Shelly Finkel and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, I'm busy." It's like, I don't get it, man.
It's simple, but it's safe money. They looking for the safe money. He goes in there, right? Let's just say he knock out Helenius. I think he's gonna knock out Helenius. Yeah, and let's say Ruiz pull it off with motherfucking Ortiz, right? Yeah, if you do Wilder versus Ruiz, and Wilder does what I think he'll do to Ruiz, he grow. I knocked out the man that AJ could not knock out. And then his celebrity grows to where I don't need a belt to sell a pay-per-view. I don't fuck I need with a belt. I'm Wilder. I already been on fuck all that. I could fucking fight anybody now and sell a pay-per-view. Yeah. And that's what they going for. The bubble.
But I'm just thinking the dude's gonna be 37 years old. Why not make the most money you can right now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Plus, he's only gonna do like 170,000, and they're gonna round it up to 200,000 buys against Helenius anyway.
Nah, I think he's gonna sell. He gonna sell that fight. I think that fight gonna do between 325 and 4 with Helenius.
I don't
because of the comeback ring. Because of the comeback.
Yes, for real. God damn.
Because of the comeback.
Because of the comeback. Look, let me tell y'all one thing. This ain't on Showtime. This is on Fox.
Yeah, Fox got a bigger machine. Yeah,
it's a bigger network, bigger promotion.
Fox is huge.
2, the comeback. Now we just seen Robert Helenius beat the shit out Polish boy. We just seen that 2 times back to back, beat the shit out of him. So you already got the illusion of Hellenius. They don't know Hellenius before them fights. They don't know Duapa smoked that man. They don't remember that Gerald Washington smoked that man. The last time they seen Hellenius, he was beating the brakes off of Kovnowski. And Wilder, all the Wilder fans, they miss Wilder. They miss him. They miss making videos about him. They love him. All the videos, all that shit. They love that shit.
Yeah.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
What you said, bro? What you say? How many? How many buys?
I say between 325 and 4. In other words,
there's a 400,000 of them.
The
300.
casuals, bro.
What you saying, D-Style?
Ring's making some good points tonight, man. I don't know. He's kind of swaying me in some of these topics.
Because you forgetting about the casuals that don't really watch boxing as much as some of us, but they know Wilder. Oh, Wilder fighting, he coming back?
That's that cult I'm talking about, bro. They called a personality, bro. They took that dude on as like a hero or something.
YouTube has really helped Wilder, man.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro. A lot of fighters because boxing now is a more interactive experience than when I was a child. I used to have to wait for the fucking newspaper to read about some shit. We don't have to do that anymore. We get news every day about some shit. That is another arm of promotion, which is why some of these pundits is bought. And that's another conversation. Yeah. But do I think that this fight could do as good as the first Fury fight? Absolutely. Because the first Fury fight only did 325. If you add all that emotional bullshit and these sentimental ass fans, 325 to 4. I'm not saying off top 4, but 325 to 4.
Hey, if they do that, bro, pay-per-view, then he's still a draw, bro. He's still strong and everything. Yeah. He's still that's money. That's money, bro. Today.
Doing north of 200,000. Gotta be honest.
The issue though is it's impossible to argue pay-per-views because we don't know what the standard is now because everybody lies about the pay-per-view buys.
That's
so
true.
We don't even know what this fight's going to do.
Too.
We don't even know.
It's crazy though because people will laugh. We'll
never know what this fight does. We'll never know.
That's true.
People will laugh and say, "Oh, so and so only did 200,000 pay-per-view buys," but again, that's $80 a pop, man. That's $16 million.
Look. I'm gonna say it another way.
It's nothing to sneeze at. I mean,
it ain't going. I'm gonna say it another way. It ain't gonna flop. Now, you got to remember what Marcos Villegas said. Marcos Villegas said that Fox is not spending no money on production anymore. But I'd wager that they will spend money on Wilder's fight because they know this man sold 850,000 pay-per-view buys with a Brit. That the Americans, they didn't really fuck with him like that. They fuck with the fight. They don't fuck with him like that. They know that. So, look, let's get Wilder, 15 mil guaranteed. We could get that back. We ain't going to spend nothing crazy like before, not 30, but we could spend 15 mil on his guarantee. We can give him that, and we could promote this fight because we Fox, where Showtime's subscriber base is approximately 35 million people. Yo, Fox is exponentially bigger than Showtime. It's not even close.
Anyone that got a television with rabbit ears got Fox.
Yeah.
Between 325 and 4, at least the report.
My initial reaction was like D-Style. I'd have been thinking 200 would be great for that. But shit, I want to see them numbers now. If they come in that big, well, shit, now I got to change my mind on that shit too with Wilder because that means he's a draw, bro. Ain't no such thing as a 400,000 buyers no more, man. Pay-per-view.
Well, boxing fans forgot that because I'm old, I remember. There's nothing like a heavyweight title fight. And there's nothing like a heavyweight fight. Couple of welterweights ain't about shit. Couple middle, man, it's heavyweight time, bro.
They draw the casual fans, right? They draw casual.
I mean, 400,000 doesn't make you a draw, to be honest.
No, it only makes you a draw if the operational costs are covered. That's all. That's what determines.
The difference is, though, Lady Chan, is like I said, the pay-per-view cost over here is so much money that you're doing a couple 100,000 over here. You're making good money. You know what I mean? That's the difference. I mean, these are $80, these pay-per-views. When you go to a fight in Vegas, ringside seats for a big fight are like $5,000.
The main thing that you got to look at is a heavyweight fight. This is not a couple of welterweights. This is not a couple of super bantamweights. These is heavyweights we talking about.
The economy over here is different, man.
Heavyweight.
It's a big economy over here. That's the thing,
Still
man.
don't think that makes you a draw of 400,000 for a heavyweight fight.
No, it's not going to make you as popular as an Anthony Joshua or a Canelo
No,
Alvarez.
but that's a hell of a buy rate
But what I'm
today.
saying,
And
what
I
I'm
don't,
saying
and I
is,
don't care what the prices of the PPVs are in different countries. That for a heavyweight, about in America, 400,000 PPVs doesn't make you an almighty draw. No,
Let me say this, Chant. Let me say this. This is what this
That's
is.
a draw today.
Let me say this.
yes. By
Let me
today's
just say
standards,
this.
yes.
Remember. Let me say this. Remember, Hellenius is not a dude that costs a lot of money. So you ain't spending 10 mil to get that man in the ring. You probably spending 2 and 3.
Yeah.
The bulk of the pot is gonna go to Wilder. So,
what I'm saying is it's cost effective because the overheads are low for the opponent.
Well, the prices are high too.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, on the other side of business, PPV, that 400,000 doesn't make you a draw. Is it cost effective for you to be able to clear that and pay a low quality opponent his fee? Yeah, and you still make profit. Yeah, but you're not equated to a draw in the sport of boxing. With
okay, Chad.
I disagree, Stan. I disagree, baby.
On PBC Island, we talking about PBC Island, right? Now on PBC Island, you would draw with that.
I guess, yeah.
You would draw because if they calling Spencer draw for 250 with Daniel, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, all right, Wilder's a draw.
It's like when you
draw then.
I'm not saying that's gonna make him Canelo or AJ. No. But 400 buys against a nobody, shit.
But it's
that's
like
gross.
It's like this too. Like the stadium fights, a lot of people show up, but look at the gates. Like the Klitschko Joshua was at $11 million gate. And Canelo versus Triple G, there was like 16,000 people there. It did like a $27 million gate. Once again, it's because but I'm just saying, because the prices are so high here, she's right about popularity. There's no question about it.
Right.
You know, when you draw more people.
No, but you know what? I need to say this. Like the reason they're priced that way is because the promoters are assuming people are gathering at homes to watch them. I mean, that's why they're priced that way.
Yeah.
Right. Historically, that's why they're like, maybe not in the COVID era, because but generally, like people pay that, like they price it that way because of what they're expecting. So when it's 400,000 buys, that's not 400,000 eyeballs. That's buys, right? In the U.S. at average, you'll see anywhere from 3 to like 7 people at average, right? Depends. That are there watching the fight. In Mexican households, like 20, right? but so it's a lot of people, but
nowadays no one comes over here, man, but back in the day I used to have like about 10 12 people come over, man.
Well, for Chavez versus Camacho, the whole goddamn neighborhood was congregated in one apartment.
No, but I see where Lady Chance comes from, because she's looking at a different market over there where guys are, you got people selling 800,000 on the average over there, some of the big names.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
Like in the greater scheme of things, if you move 400,000 pay-per-view buys, does that make you a huge draw? Absolutely not. But for the PBC, which is really what we mean, they don't have nobody over there cracking that. You see what I mean?
We got lousy fans over here too, man, that don't want to buy pay-per-views.
That's the other shit.
The fans over here stream everything, man. We got some lousy fans. I already said this before. I got yelled at for saying this. The UK fans are the best boxing fans in the world, in my opinion. I got yelled at for saying that before, but it's the truth. I know Ness used to cuss me out all the time when I used to big up the UK.
That's why I'm gonna move to Manchester. I'm gonna dye my hair blonde, bro.
No, you're moving
Earl Grey.
London. You're moving to London.
I'm gonna move to London. Dye my hair blonde. Start drinking tea, bro. All right.
Black.
So we've been talking about this fight for a while. And it's been mentioned, but it's finally official. Dmitry Bivol versus Zurdo Ramirez is going to happen.
Don't try to skate past the xenophobia shit.
You want to address that?
Yes, fucking
go ahead. We can address that. I made a video about it this morning.
Yeah, sorry, I haven't been awake. Remember, I went to bed I was still on probably when you made the fucking video.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Chan been waiting to talk about that shit.
But I shouted you out in the video because I remember we talked about it yesterday.
Oh,
but-
did you?
Yeah, I shouted you out.
Thanks,
Yeah.
dude.
Go ahead,
Now
go ahead,
listen.
go ahead,
Yeah.
talk about it. Go ahead.
It's disgusting. This is what I'm talking about, classless. This is the epitome of classless. Everybody on the panel, like, should feel offended by that such comment. All right, because everybody that's on this panel, we're like first generation maybe of the country that we're born in. So just pretend that you was all British, right? British Dominican, British Mexican, British Middle Eastern, XYZ, all over here. And you heard the guy that you root for, right, basically say, you're a foreigner and fuck you. And that is equated to people like us. So you want to come out with your Gypsy Lives Matter, right? Yeah. And say that you're being discriminated and then come out with the most foulest shit and fuck TalkSport. I need to get on that bitch. Yeah. Get me on that program, because those motherfuckers all stood around and allowed that rhetoric to be spewed out of his mouth without zero correction. But yet Anthony Joshua's classless. Anthony Joshua's petulant. Anthony Joshua, no, that was the most foulest shit that I've ever heard. And it runs a trail with Tyson Fury when he's spoken, when he's anti-Semite, he's this, he's homophobic, he's that and that. He's been all of them. So when does it stop? When does that stop? When is that acceptable? We're talking about someone that threw a couple belts out of the fucking ring. It's fucking unacceptable. But
sniffing coke and getting out of the job is acceptable.
But it's
so Rolling Stone, he was on Rolling Stone after the Klitschko fight, man. I sniffed so much fucking coke. That's what he was doing, and that's okay. Nobody's saying that. Nobody said classless, right? So looking at Tyson Fury, I learned something about the UK. I learned something. Racist. I learned something about Simon Jordan, that like you just gonna celebrate whatever Fury do. You just so he don't gotta fight Usyk, because that's basically what you ain't got. You did so much already. I dig it. I see what it is now.
Yeah,
and
that's what it is in the UK. It's very covert. It's very like that. You're allowed to say those types of things, and nobody corrects you.
Because what he said, man, I must have missed it. What did he say?
He said,
"Go on, Jules."
He said, "See, this is the thing. It's slick. It's not like here where it's in your face, where a motherfucker just come out and say some shit. It's slick. Yeah. And if you know the Brits, you know that like, oh, why you keep pointing out that he's a foreigner? So fucking what if he's a foreigner? Why you keep saying that? That's cool." Fury said that. Fury said that shit talking about Usyk. He like, I don't gotta fight some little foreigner that don't nobody know how to say. Okay. For you to say that this is a culture thing. Over here, that don't sound like nothing. Over there, you know what the fuck that shit mean. You know what you're trying to say. You know exactly what you're trying to say. Yep. And for that to come from the same guy, oh, I'm a gypsy. Y'all treat me bad. Da. Bro, shut the fuck up, fam. Like, get out of here. I know what. Listen. I know what Fury is. I bet. I knew since 2015. I know what you are, bro, and I know what your fans are, because I see what they say. I see what they say on social media, and I know who they are over there. The same way I can know what some motherfuckers is over here. I know what y'all really is.
Hit me to what he meant. What he meant by calling him a little foreigner. What was he saying?
And I've grown up like with
it was clearly xenophobic statement.
Yeah, I've grown up not hearing the
saying like he didn't matter or something. That's what he was saying.
No, because he's from a different country.
One sec. I've grown up hearing Brits say this. Oh, they're foreigners. The foreigners. This, but they're just foreigners. So I'm very well versed in that tone and in those types of statements. So that's why I take that highly offensive for myself. Do you understand? Me and Usyk are still two different races, but we're still deemed as foreigners in the UK, regardless of even if you're born there, right? So it's not even xenophobic. It's fascist. It's prejudiced. It is disgraceful.
Oh, wait a minute. He's saying like you're not a true Brit, is what he's saying.
Well, basically, let me say this. Let me communicate it. It's basically a sentiment. When you point out, oh, he a foreigner, that's this. Turning your nose up at him.
You're saying he's less than because he's from a different country.
Exactly.
It's
You
a
turning your
definition.
nose up at him.
He's just a low, like basically, he's just a foreigner. Why would I fight him? You can't even pronounce his name. He doesn't even speak English. He's a foreigner. He's a foreigner. He's a foreigner.
And he been saying that too. That's the other shit. And they've been letting him.
They've been letting him. Yeah, they've been letting him.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying about double standards, and that I can't stand them. It's disgraceful. What do you guys think?
No, I agree. I mean, I said it this morning, and I thought it was a bad thing that he said, and I think he needs to reel it back in. And I think someone's going to pull him aside and tell him he can't be saying stuff like that, and he's going to probably apologize. Whether he means it or not, that's going to be questionable because there's a pattern of behavior. So if you continue to do something over and over again, even if you apologize, I mean, are people going to take you serious? You know what I mean? So. But shout out to Ricky Ricardo with the $4.99 super chat. He said, Fury versus Usyk is a 50-50 fight. Joshua is still a cash cow and ranked number 3 in my book. Joshua outboxes and stops Wilder. Doubt fight happens. All right, shout out to you, man. Thank you, brother. So like I said before, we were talking about this fight for a while. Now it's official. Dmitry Bivol versus Zurdo Ramirez. It's going to be November 5th on DAZN. Big question. Has anyone's opinion changed about this fight now that it's official, that you have time to think about it? Can Ramirez pull off the upset? We'll go to you first, D. What are your thoughts on this fight, brother?
Like I've said before, okay, Bivol is gonna razzle and dazzle. Bivol's gonna outbox this dude, okay? Let me tell you, some twinkle toes ain't gonna sweat shit against Zurdo. I'm gonna tell you right, and all that weight, oh, he's big, he's strong. He's gonna use it against him. He's gonna tire out in the second half of that fight. Let me tell you something, 10-2. If Bivol loses more than 2 rounds, my prediction is wrong. That's how confident I am he's going to outbox this dude. He will outbox Zurdo Ramirez. I have nothing against Zurdo Ramirez. He's just not at the level of Bivol. He just isn't. Okay? And I see this 10-2, give or take. You know, I have enough respect for Zurdo to give him 2 rounds. You know what I mean? I have enough respect for his heart and his size. But he'll win 2 rounds in the first 6, and then he's going to get shut out the rest of the fight. That's just the way I see it. Bivol's too fast, too good, too skilled. He's just built different, and I think it's going to show in that fight. Bivol's been getting disrespected. Everybody counted him out. Oh, he's going to get destroyed by Canelo. Now, I'll admit I picked Canelo to win the fight, but like I was telling people, don't sleep on Bivol either. Like, he's a good fighter. Right? And no, he's not. It's a cherry pick. No, it's not a cherry pick. This motherfucker's good. And if you don't think he's good, you have another thing coming. And he proved it. Okay? He showed the jab. He showed the counter ability. This dude is the motherfucking truth. And you know what? Better Beef's next. Okay? Because he beats Better Beef too. Yeah.
Same shit I said, y'all. Same shit I said. Better Beef is nice, but he old.
Gotcha. Shout out to Ricky Ricardo with the $4.99 super chat. Once again, he said Bivol versus Zurdo. I give Bivol slight edge, but upset possible. Andrade avoiding Janabek wants Parker's number 1 WBO spot for possible but slim Canelo payday. Okay, Ring, how do you see this fight playing out with Bivol and Ramirez? Can Ramirez pull this one off?
Well, I was told about a sparring session that happened in San Diego a couple of years ago where Zurdo Ramirez was said to have beat the brakes off of Bivol, and they had to stop the session early. This was several years ago. I was sent images of the sparring session. I did see the cookie on Bivol's eye, but because it was many years ago, and because Bivol has faced pressure fighters since then, he fought Joe Smith Jr., he fought Jean Pascal, I'm with D-Styles. I give Bivol the edge because Ramirez, he does a lot of things right. He does a lot of things that you need to do. You got to be constantly on Bivol. You got to try to goad him, try to force him to throw and force him to fight. He does those things well, but Zurdo's issue is you ain't been in enough high-level situations for me to trust you. Now, I seen Bivol in high-level situations. I ain't see the most high-level situation I seen you in was Jesse Hart. That's it. So I don't trust you to get the job done. Bivol has the edge.
Got you. Calix, what are your thoughts on this matchup, brother?
The 2 best defensive fighters in the sport statistically, who are they? Dmitry Bivol, number 1, Shakur Stevenson, number 2. That's the two best defensive fighters in the sport statistically. I can't envision a scenario in which a guy in 130 looking down at 126 or even at 135 takes 7 rounds off of Shakur Stevenson, because I've never seen, even against good competition, Shakur Stevenson definitively lose a round. And it's a similar situation with Bivol. I think Bivol is the type of guy who, if he's not that interested, he fights down to his level of competition. But if you put Dmitry Bivol in a big fight, I can't envision a scenario where a guy at 175 or looking down at 168 touches this guy and wins 7 rounds off him. I can't envision that scenario. I think he's got too much. There's too much to his game. He's too versatile. And he's the best defensive fighter in the sport statistically. So I don't see Zurdo winning 4 rounds, much less 7. I just don't. I think he's seen closer to what Zurdo is going to present than Zurdo's seen anything. Zurdo has never seen anything close to what Bivol is going to present in this fight. So 10-2, maybe 9-3, Bivol all day.
Wow.
10-2.
Lady Chen, do you see this fight as being this one-sided as everyone else?
Yeah, I do. Because, as you said, Zurdo is massive. Really, he probably walks around as a cruiserweight, right? But at the end of the day, he gasses out. Second part of the fight after the 6. I don't see him. I see him. Okay, he can apply relentless pressure. Bivol's he's defensively sound. He's a great counterpuncher. Where Zurdo is gonna have to just exert his dominance by just relentless pressure, and that's if his stamina holds up. It will give Bivol some things to think about. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have to try and force Bivol to fight your fight. And Bivol is very disciplined. We saw it with Canelo. He's mad disciplined. And he's just going to counterpunch and just box circles around Zurdo, I'm afraid. So I give it like a 9-3.
Gotcha. Coach, what do you think about this one? Bivol versus Zurdo Ramirez. Who do you like?
A good buddy of mine fought Zurdo, man. So I'm well versed in his technical ability and all that shit. And to my man Julius, Zurdo's a good example of a front-footed fighter to me. But I'm with the panel, brother. The panel knows exactly what they're talking about, man. Yeah, I don't see much. I think Zurdo's a tough kid. And he's a big, strong kid, but technically, I mean, this is about to be a mismatch, I think. So I'm with the panel, man, 100%.
Gotcha. So more big news came out recently. I think it was this week. Demetrius Andrade is vacating his 160-pound WBO middleweight title, and there's talks about him taking on Zach Parker at 168 for the WBO's mandatory spot. A lot of people are questioning this move. They're saying Demetrius Andrade is avoiding Janibek, his mandatory at 160. Other people are saying this is a good move for him. Zach Parker is no walk in the park either. So I'm going to go around the panel and see what are your thoughts on Demetrius Andrade's move up to 168? And do you think he avoided Janibek? Can you really say that this was a bad move because he's going up to 168 to fight another tough guy, possibly, in Zach Parker? We'll start with you, Julius. I know you talked about this earlier. You made some good points. Go ahead.
Yeah, the people that think that he's avoiding Janibek don't know nothing about Zach Parker. That's why they saying that. And I'm not trying to sell nobody Zach Parker. That's just me having seen this kid. I see who Zach been fighting. I see who Janibek been fighting. Ain't like Janibek fighting these great guys. No, he ain't. Zach ain't fighting great guys neither. But I see a guy in Zach that actually does what you need to do with Andre. He goes to the body. One of Andre's best qualities. You know how to move around the ring. This guy goes to the body. Janibek don't. When Janibek had to fight a moving target, he was fighting Hassan Endom, kept on the same motherfucking 1-2 over and over and over and over, looking robotic. This kid actually goes to the body on a regular basis. That's what you need for Andre. The pace that he fights at is a lot more fast than Janibek's pace. So I'm not saying that Janibek is bad. I'm not trying to down him. I'm just saying I don't see an easy fight. And where in according to Hoyle Duck is when you avoid a tough fight for an easy fight. Well, this fight don't look easy to me, so it's not a duck to me. More importantly, you fight this Janibek guy and you win. Let's say you win. Hey, you shush. Be quiet. That's my wife over there talking shit. All right. Now let's say you fight Yanni Beck and you win. What do you get out of that? No, let's say you fight Yanni Beck, you win, right? What do you get out of that? Nothing. Nobody wanted your WBO anyway. But if you go to 68 and you get this interim, either you get Canelo or you get a new belt at a new weight where you don't got to cut the 8 pounds no more. You don't got to cut down the middleweight no more. So it makes sense to me. I don't think it's a duck. That's just me.
Okay. Lady Chan, what do you think about this move of Andrade up to 168? I'm sure you're familiar with Zach Parker.
Bits and pieces, but yeah, when I saw Julius's take on it, it gave me it gave me some more thoughts, and I agree with Julius, but I still think that it's, if can we call it a semi-duck then, because it's a half and half duck,
like a duck wing, wing.
It's a duck wing. Like you knew you wasn't going to fight. You was gonna vacate before when Janibek was your Mando. Then you said you was going to 168 to fight Parker. Then there was an injury, whatever. And then we heard really nothing about it. He's floating in between. Is he vacating or not? So then he's floated back down to 160. And then you get hit again with the same Mando. But then you know that you're not going to fight this dude. So why do you wait the whole 30 days then to then say on the 30th day that, you know what, I'm vacating the belt? What did you want to change within that 160 bracket? Do you think within that 30 days something was going to change, that they was going to give you somebody else? I mean, you could say Johnny Beck hasn't fought a tough level of competition, and you could say the same thing maybe with Zach Parker or whatever, and you could say the same thing with Andrade. They're all pretty much in the same boat, to be honest. So it's a semi-duck. There's something that maybe, Julius proves the point. What do you get by beating Johnny Beck? That's where I get it. I can see the move that you want the Canelo fight, whether you get that or not at 168. Cool. So I'm in the middle. It's kind of ductorious, but it's kind of not. Yeah.
All right, Coach. Do you like this move to 168 for Demetrius Andrade? What are your thoughts on it?
I'm split between both of them, but man, in boxing, man, it's been some years now, but in boxing, the undertones was, man, y'all, this Boo Boo Andrade. Man, I couldn't wait to see this motherfucker fight, man. And when I seen, man, it was a letdown and a half, bro. I'm like, this is the dude y'all thought was gonna be a fucking middleweight Whitaker or something. What the fuck y'all was talking about, man? And then I'm going, he ain't been in a fight for real. Like, what fight he been in to be demanding big money fights and all that shit, man? So I don't know if it's a duck move or half a duck move or whatever, but I'm sure he's trying to position himself into a Canelo payday like we would all be trying to do if we was active fighters. But man, that dude, he don't even come on my radar, bro. If you want to know the truth, I don't feel much about him at all, man, at all.
Yeah.
Alex, what are your thoughts on this move to 168, man?
Beeb, you ready for the betting odds of Boo Boo Andrade's fights the past 9 years?
They're like minus 1,000,
minus 2,500, minus 2,000, minus 1,600, minus 3,000, minus 3,300, minus 1,600, minus 10,000, minus 5,000. For people who don't know betting odds, that means you have to place $10,000 down on Andrade in order to win 100. That's how big of a favorite he is in these fights. Minus 850, minus 350, minus 1,400. And the reason I was excited about the Zach Parker fight initially was it was a lot of progress. Finally, he was in there with a live dog. Zach Parker was only plus 180, was it? So he was in the ballpark. This was a good fight, and he's going over there to fight him. And he's moving up a weight class, fighting a legit top 10 guy at 168. But with Andrade, it's the track record, right? He's ordered to fight Janibek. They're still ranking him at 160. He's going to fight Zach Parker. He gets the exception. He moves up to fight Zach Parker a couple weeks before the fight, shoulder injury. We get no transparency on the shoulder injury. Finally, 2 months later, they order him, you got to fight Janibek. Okay. A day after he's ordered to fight Janibek, he's on the camera with another camera over here calling out Chris Eubank Jr., who's already about to fight his own fight against a catchweight fight at middleweight. Against Conor Ben. So, and then he waits the full 30 days to decide, not to decide, because he already knows what he's going to do. He makes Janibek wait 30 days and say, no, I'm not gonna fight you. Then we're back to square one. And the reason we're back to square one is this whole time he's realizing he doesn't have any options, and he's with Dmitry Salita Promotions. And the PBC doesn't want to deal with him because they don't want to lose money. Eddie doesn't want to deal with him. He doesn't want to lose money. And that's where we're at with Boo Boo Andrade and his track record. For the people who think that it's all everybody else's fault but Boo Boo Andrade, I can point you in the direction of him pulling out of fights, him turning down fights. And at a certain point, you got to look in the mirror and say, it's me. Canelo told him last year when he called out Canelo at the press conference, fight somebody. Now, it could be, this is a business move, probably a smart move. It gets him closer to Canelo, right? But even if it's Janibek, at least he's fighting somebody. But I would disagree with this. From the handicappers I talked about, when they talk about a possible fight between Andrade and Janibek, that was an even odds fight, or even Janibek a slight favorite opening up. And I think that would have flipped. I think Andrade would have been the favorite going in on fight night. But statistically, by the odds, it's a little bit tougher of a fight than Zach Parker, according to Vegas. I don't know. But
can I just say
Zach Parker in a vacuum, that's a good fight.
Kelly, I just want to say this.
Good fight.
It's hard for me to look at that as being easier when, one, you fighting Zach Parker. Two, you fighting all three judges and Frank Warren. If this thing goes to the cards, if they don't give a shit about you, bro, you ain't the house fighter. You going to Derby, where he from. You fighting them fans. You fighting Zach Parker. You fighting the judges. So the active ingredient in the duck is when you avoid a hard situation for an easy situation. Is this situation easy? No, it ain't. More importantly, it's the best and smartest move he can make. Now, it's not a guarantee that you get Canelo, but if I'm Eddie Hearn, I don't want Canelo to fight Bivol again. I need him to keep winning. So I'd rather he fight Demetrius Andrade, right? If he can get in position and win this fight, I would tell Canelo, yo, fight Andrade, bro. Fight him. It's an easier fight. Fight him. You're not beating Bivol, bro. Not at 75. Not beating that man. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Only Andrade could pull off something like this to where I like the fight, but I still hate what Andrade's doing. Like, only the thing too is the people who
Andre's
are
the type of fighter.
criticizing Janibek for being promoted to full champion. Here's what you need to realize is we're in a historically bad time for the middleweight division. We got guys who, what's Andrade doing right now? He's moving up to super middleweight. Golovkin's fighting for undisputed at 168. Chris Eubank Jr. is fighting a welterweight. None of these guys, Jamal Charlo, Lord only knows what he's doing. His wife his girlfriend is calling him broke. Lord only knows what he's doing. What I'm saying is, when we talk about middleweight, we're talking about a tallest midget competition. That's what we're talking about. So Janibek is good enough. Like if you can walk and chew gum at the same time, and you at least want to fight other middleweights, you're a top 5 middleweight at this point.
Yeah.
Mourinho wants to fight John Ryder, and that's not a bad fight in a vacuum, but it's at one. It's a super middleweight. Where are the middleweights who want to fight in this traditional sexy division? And where are the middleweights? Canelo has broken these dudes' brains. Like everything these dudes are doing is geared towards landing a Canelo fight.
Yeah.
And it's left the middleweight division in shambles.
Yep.
Yeah.
D, what are your thoughts, man? You like Andrade's move up to 168 or what?
I haven't liked anything Andrade's ever done. I mean, I've never said, wow, what a move, like ever. I kind of feel the way coach feels. I mean, I heard all this talk about Andrade, like just like when they tell you how good a movie is and you watch it and you're kind of like, what? That's it? Or you got to go to this steakhouse. The steak is really good. And you go and you're like, this tastes like a regular steak to me. What the fuck is this? Right? Like you told me.
I got a cousin named Boo Boo. I was rooting for Boo Boo like a motherfucker till I seen him fight. I said, man, this shit here is nothing, man.
And I'll just say this. Look, it's for those that remember, you know, the Lion King. Remember when the hyenas would hear the name Mufasa? You know, and they'll get ooh. Like anytime somebody says Janibek, This guy goes, woo! Like he don't want no part of Janibek, and his fans don't want any part of Janibek. There's a content creator out here capping for the dude, okay? A big content creator, all right? So you know who you are, and you know damn well you don't want him to fight Janibek, all right? You know damn well you didn't. And his fans, he doesn't have an army. He has a platoon, right? But they're out there. They didn't want him to fight Janibek. They knew what was going to happen. That's all.
Can I say this? I just want to say this.
Sure.
I don't think he wanted to fight Yanni Beck. I agree with you. Because he was calling Chris Eubank Jr. out when they ordered him to fight Yanni Beck, so you know he don't want to fight Yanni Beck. He's like, damn, like you call him. So I dig it. I'm just saying that I don't think we should look at Parker as some kind of slouch. Because I'm just saying that Andrade might lose that motherfucker. That's what I'm saying. He might lose.
But let me say this. His best win, the best win of Andrade's career was fucking Triple G's tune-up. Triple G got shredded for fighting Vanez. That's your best win, bro. That's the best win of your career.
Yeah.
It was,
and he got dropped by Vanez too.
It was a tough one too, man.
And he had a tough one with Jack Coquet. Most people didn't see that, but I did. He didn't look good in that fight neither.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
So we got one topic left here, man. We got kind of a crossroads fight that it's going under the radar, happening this Saturday. Jose Pedraza versus Richard Comey at 140. I don't know if these guys can be a player in the division, but once again, there's two guys coming off of a loss, and we'll see where it takes them. But what do you guys think of this fight this weekend? And who do you got winning? Ring, what do you think of this matchup, Richard Comey versus Jose Pedraza?
It's a classic matchup, the boxer versus the puncher. Pedraza's the boxer, Comey is the puncher. I like Comey. I never seen a boring Comey fight. I love that guy, right? But Pedraza showed me something in the Ramirez fight that you could be big and he'll work around you. He'll work around you. And Comey is not that physically imposing. His best shot is the straight 1-2. That's it. That's all he got. He don't got a good left hook. He ain't got a great uppercut. He don't got a lot of great nothing, but he does have a great right hand. I don't think he's going to land that right hand. I think Pedraza's going to win on points. He's going to out-hustle him. He's going to win a decision.
G, what do you think of this matchup this weekend? It's kind of flying under the radar.
This is like where Tank Davis's best win on his resume starts to derail. I mean, what if he loses to fucking Comey? Then what? This is the best. Like Pedraza's literally the one dude they always say, "Oh, he knocked out Pedraza."
Yeah.
So I hope Pedraza gets I hope he gets knocked out here by Comey because I'm just dying to know what they're gonna say after that. Okay, like I'm just dying. Okay, because this was getting passed around at 140, just as a tune-up for dudes losing. That's Tank's best.
No, D-Style. What they're gonna say, D-Style is Tank took everything out of Pedraza. That's
took his soul.
But that's what I think. I got Comey winning by a mid-round stoppage.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
What do you think of this fight, Lady Chen? I know it's kind of an overseas matchup, but what do you think?
No, this is a good fight. I'm interested in this fight. I think Comey's done. I think him being at 135, moving up, that was a good thing. But yeah, I just think that Comey, like it's boxer versus the brawn. Comey's not fundamentally that skilled. I think the days of that Comey that we saw with Teofimo Lopez and XYZ, that's done. That's diminished, and I think Pedraza has a little bit. He has more left, and he's skillful. So I'm with Julius. I think that's going to be a comfortable points decision. Do I see anybody hitting the canvas? If anything, you never know. You may even see Comey hit the canvas because Comey can hit the canvas. And you're like, why are you there?
And don't forget, Comey got knocked out by Lopez. He got schooled by Loma.
Yeah. So I mean, I would like Comey to win, but I have to just be real. I just don't feel that Pedraza's just gonna a comfortable points decision on this one.
Coach, what do you think of this matchup?
Man, I like it. I think it's a great, fun fight to watch. I think it's whoever watches is going to be entertained. I think they both on about the same backslide. You know what I'm saying? They both on back nine or something of their career. Not that they shot, but on the backside. Ain't nobody's gonna think they gonna upset the top dogs, but man, I'm a sentimental fan of that Coleman, bro. I like Coleman, man. But shit, I don't know, bro. I think it's gonna be fun, man. I think I could see Pedraza, edging a decision, or shit. I think it's gonna be a fun fight, man. I think they both on the back on that same level, and it's gonna make for a great battle. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably rooting for Coleman, but gonna pick Pedraza, I guess, in a decision.
That's how I feel. I like Coleman. He's fun.
Yeah.
He won't be in boring fight. I never seen a boring Coleman fight.
Oh man, he's gonna try to win, even if he's hurt.
Exactly. You see, he didn't want to give up in the Loma fight.
No.
I like
Right.
him. He got a lot of heart, but
Yeah.
for that 1-2, I just don't think it's gonna be there for him. And that's all he thought. He thought a 1-2. The 1-2 and 1-2 and 1-2 and 1-2, and that's all he thought.
And he's front footed. He's leaning forward in there so he can get hit.
Leaning over his lead.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's
Who you got, Joe?
Who do I got?
Yeah.
I think Comey is gonna land the right hand. I'm going with Comey here by knockout, man.
Well, I'm rooting for it. Shit, let's make it happen.
I'm gonna go with the puncher in this one, man. Pedraza's a little bit fragile. It's not very durable. He gets hit.
But he went 12 with Ramirez, man.
I just really want to see
Ramirez, man.
I know.
That's gonna be a fun fight. Watch. It's gonna turn into a great fight. Watch.
Yeah.
Calix, what do you think, man? What do you like?
I echo what everybody else said about I'm cheering for Comey, but I think Pedraza is going to win a fight. Here's two things. One, they both have quality losses. When we talk about Pedraza, Ramirez,
Great point.
Loma, Tank, and when we talk about Richard Comey, Lomachenko, Teofimo, no shame in those losses. But what it shows is they lose to the fighters above them, but they also beat the fighters beneath them. They beat the guys they're supposed to beat. They lose to the fighters they're supposed to lose to. So what does that tell us? When I look at the betting odds, remember, I'm a nerd. I look at the betting odds all the time. Pedraza is minus 280. Comey is plus 230. Comey is a healthy underdog. Pedraza is the healthy favorite.
I'm about to say that ain't
They're supposed to beat. They lose against the guys they're supposed to lose to. So that tells me, if I'm looking at trends, Pedraza is going to win this fight. If I'm looking at trends, a guy with under 50% KO percentage, he's going to win by decision. So I'm taking the over. I think Pedraza wins the fight, and Pedraza by decision. I think that's the smartest play.
Okay.
2.5 to 1 is really a solid favorite. That's why when Boo Boo's fucking 10,000 to 1, that's because they ain't fought no fucking body, man. That's all that shit is. And they putting you up there with suckers, man.
Boo Boo's the type of guy to hit the lottery and lose the ticket, brother.
Oh,
This is Captain Marina's 2.0.
What are you gonna
Captain
do, man?
Marina's 2.0.
All right, man. Thanks to everyone on the panel tonight. Thank you, everyone in the chat. This was a great show. We had great discussion tonight. Thank you, ladies.
Hey guys, I've been on several of these, man, and being a boxing guy, bro. I appreciate y'all guys, man. Y'all know boxing, bro. This was fun, man. I was doing more listening than talking, bro. I enjoyed this, man.
By the way, are you from Louisiana? Because you got the accent.
Yeah, I'm a New Orleans boy, bro. I'm a Irish Muslim from New Orleans, bro. So I'm all fucked up over here.
I can almost tell exactly where you're from in New Orleans by your accent. You're probably Houston by way of New Orleans, I'm guessing.
All right.
Yeah. I've been here about 23 years. So about half, I'm 46. I've been here half my life, bro, in Houston. But this shit ain't going nowhere. I'm stuck like this.
You got that lower Ninth Ward accent. Is what you got.
That's me, man.
Coach, it was a pleasure having you. Calix, as always, thank you. Lady Chen, thanks for coming back. Ring, always a pleasure having you. D-Styles, my man. See you later. All right, guys. Peace out, everyone. Have a great night. Thank you all.